Good morning. Welcome to another session on environmental impact assessment.
So we shall begin with Unit 2. Unit 2 is about methodologies. So the course outcome, elucidate the methods of EAA with case studies. Learning outcome, discuss the methods used in EAA. Specific outcomes, characteristics of various methods adopted in EAA. So many times an EAA analyst or a person charged with the preparation of the EAA report is faced with vast quantity of raw and usually unorganized data, right? So due to this issue that he has a vast amount of data which is unorganized, uh, there is a necessity of a particular methodology that is to be adopted to execute the EIA. So any method which you adopt for EIA has to have some characteristics. So what are those characteristics? First one, it should be systematic in approach. Second one, it should be able to organize a large mass of heterogeneous data. So what we mean by heterogeneous data? Heterogeneous data means uh, data from different categories. For example, we are going to collect data about water. We are going to collect data about air. We are going to collect data about the different soil types. We are going to collect data about the foundation types. For example, if it's a building, we are going to collect data about the uh, flora and fauna, meaning the plants and animals located in that particular area, and so on and so forth. So that is a heterogeneous data set. Third thing, it should be able to quantify the impacts. Fourth, it should be capable of summarizing the data. Fifth, it should be able to aggregate the data into sets with the least loss of information because of aggregations. You may have to group the data into different categories, but we should not lose any information by such aggregation process or categorization process. Sixth, it should have a good predictive capability. So the method should be able to find out what are the uh, future impacts. It should extract the salient features, salient meaning important features. And eight, it should finally be able to display the raw data and derived information in a meaningful fashion. Meaningful fashion in the sense like we should be able to have some pictorial representation of the impacts rather than having it as a very documented format. So each of the different methodologies for the assessment of environmental impacts of development projects have their advantages and disadvantages, and their utility for a particular application is largely a matter of choice and judgment of the analyst. So each method has some pros and cons, or to say some benefits and some disadvantages. So which method that a EA consultant will use depends on his choice, and he can judge. Why? Because he has got vast experience on doing such studies, so he will be able to know for a particular project what type of EA methodology he should adopt, and so that it will be the most beneficial one. So the criteria for selection of the EA methodology should be simple, flexible, and it should take into account of the manpower, time, and budget constraints. When it comes to impact identification, uh, it should be able to find out the impacts in a comprehensive way, meaning comprehensive is taking into account of everything. Comprehensive way, it should be able to find out the impacts. Specificity, the impact identification should be specific in nature. You should be able to segregate the project impacts and categorize them, and you should be able to find out the timing of the impacts, meaning the impact is going to last for a few days or few months or few years, and also the duration, meaning timing and duration. So it should have some the methodology that we are going to adopt should have some facility to measure the impacts, right, in terms of some units, right. or there should be some explicit indicators which should help us in measuring the impacts, or you should be able to find out the magnitude meaning the quantum of the impact, or you should have some specific objective criteria. Impact interpretation and evaluation. So when it comes to impact interpretation evaluation, what are the parameters which methodology should consider is the significance of the uh, impact, the explicit criteria that is involved, uh, portrayal of with and without situation, the uncertainties that are involved in that particular project, the risk uh, the people will be facing, the depth of analysis of the impacts, alternative comparison, alternate the comparison of the alternatives, or to say in comparison of the alternatives, and finally the public involvement. So whichever methodology we are going to take, it should take into account of all these parameters when it comes to interpretation and evaluation of the impacts. Communication of the impacts. So who are the people who are going to get affected, who are the parties who are going to get affected, uh, whether it is going to be the local people or it is going to be the uh, people in the surroundings of the particular project location, and so on and so forth. Setting description is the project location description, whether it is going to affect that particular locality or the whole city or whole town, or maybe the whole state. uh, there should be a summary of the impact so that it can be communicated in an easy manner to the people. The key issues should be addressed when you're communicating the impacts, and the compliance meaning whether it is complying with the standards. So thus we come to end of this session. The quiz questions will be posted in the quiz form, which you can attend. Thank you.
Thus, we come to the end of this session. Thank you for your participation. Looking forward to meeting you in the next session.